Hello everyone, I'm Captain Cobble. Today we're going to be working on a 2007 Honda Element. Its AC has started to blow hot, so I did some troubleshooting and found that it's the AC condenser. So if you're having like issues with your AC and it's not your cabin air filter, then you may want to check your AC condenser, and we'll quickly show you how that's done. So it may be a little bit hard to see, but our AC condenser fan is right here. So I'll go ahead and start it up and show that when the AC is turned on, that the AC condenser fan does not run. Okay, so the car is turned on and running, and you can see both fans aren't running right now, but eventually the far left one on the driver's side by the battery will turn on and run. I'll go ahead and turn the AC on to show you that this passenger side fan does not turn. Okay, so AC is on. You can now see that the driver's side fan is turning, but this passenger side still isn't turning. This passenger side one is the AC condenser fan, and whenever the AC is on, that one should always be running. And as you can see, it isn't, so we're going to go ahead and show how to replace it. Okay, so we're going to disconnect the negative battery cable right here. That is the cable you always want to disconnect whenever you're doing any work to your vehicle, so we're going to go ahead and get that disconnected. All right, we got it disconnected, so we're just going to tuck it out of the way. Next, what you're going to want to do is you want to disconnect all 4 of these pop clips to expose the radiator a bit more and be able to get more access to the condenser fan right here. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect them. First one. Okay, sometimes they just go flying if you're not careful. This one, this one. So now that those are out of the way, you can just, oh, there's one more I forgot to mention, right here. All right, so now that we actually have all 5 out of the way, we can lift and remove. And as you can see, all right, and as you can see, that gives us a bit more access to the radiator area right up here. So then we're gonna want to disconnect, or not disconnect, but undo 3 screws. There's one right here, and one right here. This one right here is for the overflow tank. Then there's this one and this one right here. That is for the condenser fan. And if you needed to, right over here is the regular coolant fan, but you'll have to undo a radiator hose to be able to remove that. All right, so all 3 that we have to remove are 10 millimeters. So we'll go ahead and remove those. So first 10 millimeter bolt removed, second one removed, and finally we've got the last bolt removed. Okay, so I was off a little bit. We want to pull the overflow tank off and just pull it out like so. Right now we have full range to pull the condenser fan out. We want to be careful while doing so. So before you go any further, you want to remove this radiator mount, and the radiator mount is a 10 millimeter. So all you have to do is disconnect it. And it's just 2 bolts, one here and one here. Okay, we have both of the bolts that go to that radiator mount. Then we just pull the radiator mount off. All right, so before anyone starts just yanking and pulling on their condenser fan, you want to make sure there are no cables underneath the fan or on the bottom of the fan that are holding it in. So like in my case, I have to come under here and undo thing right here, right here, right here, right here. Let's go down a little bit further. There'll be one right here and one right here. Then there will also be one that's right here. There will be one right here. There will be one right here and one right here. Not to mention 4 bolts on right here, down right over here, and then one way right here that you have to undo to get this bottom. There'll be one, or all those you have to undo to get this bottom tray out to be able to get underneath the condenser fan. So I'll go ahead and undo those last 4 bolts and show you how to disconnect those connectors. All right, so now that we've got the 4 bolts undone, we will pull this down. We should, oh, I forgot to mention, there's one right here on each side. So there should be one down here. Yep, those are the last 2 that we have to get before we can slide this down. Okay, so I got it pulled down enough to where I can reach my hand up, and I should be able to reach the connector that I'm looking for. So I got it pulled far enough away. It looks like the connector right up here for the condenser fan. I should be able to, should be a clip to just pull this out. Okay, so looks like all we have to do is just push up somehow. So we'll want to disconnect or take off the connector on the fan assembly or fan shroud right here. If you can see me touching it, we'll want to pull that off, and then we'll also want to do this one right here. So I'll go ahead and get those disconnected, and we should be able to pull the condenser fan out. So we got this pulled off. This one, it just pulls right off to from that this way, so towards the engine. And this one you want to pry on this part right here towards the engine, and that will disconnect both of those and free up the condenser fan. Okay, back top side, what we want to do is grab the condenser fan and pull it along this way, and you can tug on the radiator just a little bit, and that should give it enough room to slowly pull up. And you just want to be careful while doing it. Just take your time, make sure you don't hit anything, and it will be a slight tight fit. When I say slight, it definitely is a tight fit. Alright, so I grabbed the other radiator mount, so that way we can move the radiator back just a little bit further, and in turn should give us a little bit more room to remove the condenser fan. Whoops. Alright, so I wasn't as gentle as I could have been while removing the condenser fan assembly, but we have a whole new assembly with a new shroud, new fan, new motor, so we'll do out with the old and in with the new. Alright, so here's our new one right here. We'll just want to compare with our old one to see if there's anything that we have to carry over. And as you can see, this part does have to come back over to this. So we'll go ahead and remove this and bring it over here. So the best way to do it is to take a pair of pliers or something, just squeeze it and push, then you can pull it out like that. So now this is just junk. All right, so we're going to insert the new one in like that. And since they're pretty much the same, we're just going to be careful to reinsert it to make sure we don't break anything. Okay, so I removed the radiator cap to hopefully give us a little bit more room. So we're just going to slowly and carefully push the condenser fan back in. And you don't want to force it too hard, otherwise you will indeed break something. Okay, so we got the new one in without breaking anything. So what we're going to do is we're just going to just set it there, get it ready. I'll go ahead and put the radiator cap back on like that, and then I'll get back under and reconnect everything, put all the clips back in, and we should be good to go to put the radiator top mounts back on, overflow tank back on, and screw the fan in and put its connector in. So hold it down like this and push it in, and it should go back in. I'm having a little bit of trouble with it, but that's okay. But you just want to make sure it's all good and tidy and nothing will get hit by the fan. Okay, so once you get done underneath, you're going to put the radiator supports right here. You want to do both of the bolts that go into it. So I'll go ahead and get those done. But you also want to remember not to get it completely tight yet, just so you have some wiggle room to get the other bolt in. Okay, got that one tight. Got that one tight. So the other side should be exactly the same, so we'll go ahead and get that one done. Okay, that one's tight now, so I'll go ahead and start affixing the fan and the overflow tank. Overflow tank drops in sideways, sort of like this, just gotta fish it around. And we'll go ahead and get it bolted up right there, or right here. Okay, got it tight right there. And we don't want to forget to hook up this overflow hose, like so. Before we go too far, we'll grab our connector right here for our fan, push it in, like so, make sure it clicks, and give it a tug. Then we'll put the last two bolts, and then verify that this fan actually works. Okay, we got both bolts in. I'll go ahead and just snug them up. So on this one, and then like so on this one. So that's all good. Everything's all tightened up. I'll go ahead and reconnect the negative battery cable. All right, now that we got the negative battery cable secure, let's go ahead and fire it up and see if if the condenser fan actually works. All right, so I have the AC off. You can see over there that both fans are not spinning. So I'll go ahead and turn on the AC and see if both of them start running. Success! It looks like both of them are running. All right, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and shut the vehicle off and put the last shroud back on. All right, so all we have left is this shroud right here. So it slips on just like this, and we'll have 4 little pop clips, 1 in the middle. All right, so should be like this. You should be able to just pop the first one in, and then we have 4 more to do. There's the second, third, fourth, and this one's broken, so since I don't have any more clips, unfortunately, struggle a little bit and place it back in. So that's how you replace the AC condenser fan in a 2007 Honda Element. This should work for all Honda Elements from at least 2007 to 2011. That's as far as I know, since that's when they changed the engines. It may work for the earlier ones, but I'm not a mechanic, nor do I work on Hondas for a living. So take my advice at your own risk. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I may do more car-related content in the future. Consider commenting and sharing with others. And anyways, hope you all enjoyed.